Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while, but I am back. So I have some new tea on the Megxi. It does affect me as a British taxpayer. So as you guys would have probably already seen, Meghan Markle lost the first round of her court battle, and I'm sure you guys can remember and think back to a time when she actually revised her legal claim against the Associated Press. She brought in her father's side and she said that he was vulnerable, and it was somewhere along the lines of that, and she basically said that the media had exploited him. She brought him into the case, and that was then struck out because her legal claim began to take a completely different direction from what it started out as. So as a result, she has lost £67,000, which we know is directly coming from the British taxpayer. So it's coming from my purse, which I am not very happy about, because this is an example of Meghan and Harry. Harry's in this as well. They're both implicated in this foolery, if I can say that word. This is an example of them chucking money away. So the judge has ordered them to pay the legal costs, and that is the fees of the Associated Press to defend themselves against Meghan. So she's been ordered to pay £67,000, which I personally think is justified, because we know that she doesn't really have a leg to stand on, and she's pulling this case out of thin air. Meghan Markle is a public figure, and she certainly was a public figure and a person of public interest at the time when they printed this letter that was actually supplied to them by Thomas Markle himself, and had previously been leaked to the media in People magazine by one of Meghan's, well, I think it was 5 of her friends, who she is now refusing to name. She doesn't really have much of a leg to stand on, but here we have Meghan Markle willing to spend as much of the British taxpayers' money as possible on her own self-interest. So I'm going to get into the article here, and it starts off with Meghan Markle agrees to pay more than £67,000 in legal costs after losing the first round of her legal battle against the Mail. And then they go on to talk about who she's suing. The Duchess is suing Associated Newspapers Limited, publisher of the newspaper and Mail Online, over an article published in February 2019, which reproduced parts of a handwritten letter she sent to her father. And this is really something that I don't agree with in the first place. Why was she sending her father a handwritten letter which could have been intercepted, has unfortunately ended up being intercepted, when he was just a plane ride away, a phone call away? When you marry into one of the most renowned dynasties of the world, money is no longer an object, it's no longer a limitation. She had unlimited resources and access to financial funds to actually get on a plane and take some time out of her busy schedule to see her father in person and have this conversation and have a reconciliation with him. She did not do that. Instead, she chose to send a letter from wherever she was in the world, whether that be South Africa, who knows where she was when this was sent out, and share it with these 5 young mothers. Allegedly, they are young mothers who she is now currently trying to protect. instead of actually going to see her dad. It just doesn't make any sense. So the letter got out and she is against that. She's disputing that. She's saying that it was a breach of her privacy. She didn't know that it was leaked to the media. And she has also tried to say, well, she hasn't tried to say, she's actually said that she also didn't know about her 5 friends leaking to People magazine and disclosing this letter that she allegedly wrote for her father to see. Now, the Associated Press are obviously in defense of their actions, and they are basically saying that it was with Thomas Markle's permission that they were able to share the contents of Meghan Markle's letter. So he actually gave them permission to share this because he felt that he'd been shut out. I'm going to cover the rest of the article, but I've given you guys the general gist of what they have basically said. A written submission from July 22nd has since shown that the Duchess has agreed to pay in full the publisher's costs for the strike-out hearing of £67,000 and £888. The hefty bill was revealed as the court heard Meghan believes naming the 5 female friends who briefed People magazine about her and a letter sent to her father, Thomas, would be an unacceptable price to pay for pursuing a claim against the Associated Newspapers. The Duchess has applied for an order to keep secret the identities of the women, all young mothers, at a hearing at the Royal Courts of Justice in London. Today, a skeleton argument presented to the court by Meghan's legal team said to disclose their identities to the public at this stage is an unacceptable price to pay for the right to pursue her claim for invasion of privacy. But in an embarrassing moment during the application, Meghan's QC Justin Rushbrook accidentally said the surname of one of the 5 friends the Duchess is seeking to keep anonymous. So he made an error, he slipped up. I haven't actually seen that name myself, sorry guys, I've been slacking on the research. And there you have it. It seems that, as fate would have it, I do believe that she may be forced to give these names up. I think that they should have their names put forward. Anthony White, QC for Associated Newspapers, the publisher of the Mail on Sunday, told the court Meghan was apparently pleased with her friend's intervention in speaking to People magazine, apart from the reference to the letter she wrote to her estranged father. So allegedly, it seems as though Meghan was actually quite happy when they were leaking intimate details of her letter that she'd handwritten to her father. She was in approval of it, yet suddenly now it's become an issue. And it seems that for Meghan, everything becomes an issue after the fact. She spends £44 million of taxpayers' money on elaborate clothes and choir boys and scented candles and you name it, and then after the issue she doesn't want a public funded life. She doesn't want to take money from the taxpayer. She spends £2.5 million on Frogmore Cottage, and now she doesn't want to live in Frogmore Cottage. So it all seems after the fact suddenly it's an issue, and you just can't be like that really in life. People don't know whether she's going left or right. Anyway, I'm going to carry on and conclude this. Earlier this month, Meghan gave away that the friends were all women in her witness statement related to today's order application, revealing they all had children. She said, each of these women is a private citizen, young mother, and each has a basic right to privacy. They didn't really want to have a private life when they was talking to the likes of People magazine, a very famous media publication, did they? Anyway, I'm going to carry on. The Mail on Sunday claims that revelations in People and the misleading impression it gave of the letter gave Thomas Markle the right to publish more of the handwritten note in the newspaper to defend himself, but Meghan insists that she had no idea any of her friends had spoken to People magazine until after the fact. Anthony White QC, acting for Associated Newspapers, said reporting these matters without referring to names would be a heavy curtailment of the media's and the defendant's entitlement to report this case and the public's right to know about it. Meghan insisted more than a dozen times in last week's legal document that she had no prior knowledge of her friend's interview with People. She added that she was so uninvolved in the process of the People article that she only found out about it on the day it was published. I don't believe any of that for a minute. I think that she was by their side every step of the way. I think that she got a kick out of it. I think she liked the fact that they was talking about her. I think that she even coerced them in what to say. The only thing that has really angered me, like I said at the beginning of the video, is the simple fact that the British taxpayer is now paying for this ridiculous legal lawsuit against Associated Newspapers. And seeing as Meghan Markle has lost the first round and she's had to pay for the strikeout up to the sweet sum of £67,000, we have to pay for this strikeout. So, Megsy, you really have done it again. You're wasting our money and it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. I know this is old tea, but I thought I'd cover it anyway, and I will be back with another video. Bye, guys.